Hello, my name is William Lusher, and welcome to the Across States Bank Security Plan. So, to kick this off, let's define the purpose behind our information security policies. Nowadays, cyber threats are escalating more, and more companies face financial losses and reputational damage due to cyber attacks. Across States Bank, being a financial institution, we need to ensure that we are maintaining our information security to the highest standards and best practices in order to keep our clients' data safe as well as our own financial data safe. We need to have proactive measures in place for our cyber defense. No longer can we just be reactive to cyber attacks. We have to have active security policies in place to prevent these events from happening. This program is designed to defend our assets, meet regulatory demands, and maintain customer trust. By structuring our security policy around these principles, we can effectively minimize and protect our risk to our organization and protect our data from both internal and external threats. So now we need to define various technical literacy skills that we will need to have to deploy these security measures. Our information security team needs to have a high level of understanding in network defense techniques, including network segmentation, firewalls, VPN configurations, and intrusion detection/prevention systems. Data protection is also of critical importance. They need to have data loss prevention (DLP) software installed to ensure that no unauthorized data can leave our networks without permission. Vulnerability analysis needs to be conducted on a regular basis so that we can have effective patch management, and our information security system should be held to the highest industry standards like NIST 800-53 and should be configured in a zero trust model. So we need a roadmap to get to our goal. So the first step in this roadmap was going to be implement zero trust architecture into our networks and into our access controls. No critical systems housing critical data should be trusted, should trust other systems. There should always be need for authentication. And furthermore, access controls needs to be established so that no employees have extra access than they need. We need to establish our network segmentation to secure our sensitive data and perform regular vulnerability and patch management to ensure our data is protected. We need to deploy DLP software to ensure that our data cannot be taken off our network without permission, and we need to enforce access control policies. Next, our security design principles. The principle of least privilege will be placed on all configurations, which is not allowing any employees to have extra access than they need to do their job. This goes hand in hand with our zero trust infrastructure. Next, we will be implementing a defense in-depth framework, ensuring that there are layers to our defense at every level. A hacker can't just breach in our network and see everything. Our data needs to be protected. There needs to be extra security measures. Separation of duties is another critical principle that we'll be employing. No one person should control all the access to critical systems. This needs to be separated for security reasons. Secure defaults will be configured so that even if our employees are negligent and leave their computers set up to the default standards, these defaults will be safe. Fail-safe defaults will also be configured that in the event of a hack, these devices will be able to be accessed and patched remotely. So our timeline for these phases will happen over the entire life cycle of the company, but really over a year. Our phase one will be between 1 to 3 months, and this will be our assessment of our current network and planning. Between the 3 to 6 month mark, we'll have the infrastructure actually being set up and configured. All the configurations should be planned and written out. This is just the execution phase. Phase 3 will happen between 6 months and a year, and this will be the actual implementation of our security policies. And forever ongoing, this will be monitoring and maintenance of our network security, as well as vulnerability scans and patch management. So our system maintenance that needs to be conducted is regular vulnerability scans to identify and mitigate new risks. Patch management, this will go hand in hand with our vulnerability scans, as our vulnerability scans will see where we are weak and where we need to patch our network and other security or software we may be running. Performance monitoring and network monitoring is also essential so that we can see if there's any suspicious traffic on our network. And periodic policy reviews is also very essential to make sure that our policies are in line with the latest security threats. So our application of best practices in the industry, we will be adhering to the NIST 800-53 framework, which will ensure that we have comprehensive coverage of our security management, auditing, and monitoring softwares. And this will be ongoing in the network. We'll also be implementing our zero trust infrastructure, which is best practice in the industry. Some common security failures that we could experience. Improper network segmentation is a very critical error that we could make, which could expose us to risk. Improper patch management and negligence in that area could also expose us to risk, and weak passwords and Cypher Suite could also expose us to unnecessary risk. Us being a financial, or Across States Bank being a financial institution, this is something we simply cannot risk. So our corrective measures will be to enforce strict access control and authentication measures, implement regular system patching and protocols, and adapt our network segmentation to restrict access to critical assets as these may come about. For our monitoring, we'll be monitoring continuously our network traffic for suspicious data streams. We will be auditing our entire system and devices occasionally and at random to ensure that there's nothing suspicious happening on these devices, and an incident response plan will be in place to respond to potential threats. Some key features of our network will be a data loss prevention software, network segmentation, constant network managing, access control, patch management, regular vulnerability scans, and the encryption of data via an end-to-end VPN, as well as our zero trust infrastructure. And our use of encryption will be end-to-end encryption in the form of VPNs, tokenization of sensitive financial data, ensuring that this data cannot be sniffed by a man-in-the-middle attack, the use of checksums to ensure data authenticity, and database encryption for sensitive data. By employing all these techniques, Across States Bank financial information should be safe and away from any hackers with prying eyes.